You want to go take a closer look in the pit? No, that way don't work. Now my grizzly bars are upside down because I'm working on the grizzly, welding it back together. It's like an ongoing thing. Weld it up every so many weeks. I went ahead and yeah, let me jump down there real quick. I don't jump down anywhere quick. Okay, let's have a close-up look at my ore body here. This is all virgin. I have taken 3 to 4 feet of material off the top. It was real loose. It was probably hydraulic tailings. Right about here, I don't know how well it will show up on camera, but right here, see the sharp angular rock? This is like glacial till. This is no gold from here up. This is still overburden from, well, I call it overburden. It's 100 yards to the ounce. So there is some gold in it. There's a lot of it here, but I don't run it. I throw it out of the way. But it's been aerated. You see how soft it is? That's an indication that there was a boil. It's barren of any fine material. Yet we have a lot of fine material down here, right? This is high and low water pressure zones. Semi-rounded rock. From here down though, this is a whole different decomposition of layers over the years. This is the better grade. This is what I run. And we're on bedrock right here. I've hit bottom. There's a considerable amount of clay, but also a high level of sand in this material. So what I'll do is I'll pretty much use this zone right here as a marker to dig down to, and that's pretty clearly defined. Right about here. It's always inconsistent. Wouldn't it be nice if it was always flat and smooth? No, it's always lumpy and bumpy, and you chase it. And that's where the dilution factor comes in. I'm back here at my 2013 mill site where I set up with my dad. Let's have a look around. First, there's the pit where I did the digging and brought the material out of, all the way, mined all the way down here, all the way down there. I did not mine over here. I totally missed it on this mill site. I set the plant up in the camp and everything right on top of the ore body. The wash plant was set up right here, kind of right where the truck is. And the pond is over here. Notice that pine tree right there. You can see it in the video. The pond liner went right up to it. And I left these trees in here as markers to know where I've dug and where I haven't dug. And you see the elevated area. This is the road. The main road going down the canyon, that's 20 feet of tailings in there. Everything I'm parked on top of here, this whole big mound, is tailings. I left a nice big place to turn around and drive back out of here. But this is still a good mill site. And So this is still a good mill site, and now I know exactly where the ore is. When I moved in here, I didn't know where it was, and just started digging up the bottom of the canyon. But on further study, it determined that the gold all lays up against this side of the canyon over here, which I never mind, and that's where my motorhome, this is the RV spot that I had my motorhome. This is totally flat like a tabletop over here. But the thing to do, and I think this mill site will be active again next summer, would be to go ahead and pull all this vegetation off here. And now we can throw all the waste to this side of the canyon and dig this side. And this is really rich ground over here. I actually dug down below and I dug up above. But of course I was set up here, so I couldn't dig up underneath everything that I had in place. So let's go down the canyon. I'll drive you down there and show you my 2014 and 15 mill site area. In 2013, I wound up having to haul tailings all the way down here. And I said, enough of that. I'm gonna move the whole plant down to that big hole and just dump my tailings over the edge. So I'm on probably 30 feet of tailings right now. I dug this all the way to the bottom. Now, the Clark Company, back in '76, this is where they ended. And you see how it's notched over here right against these trees? This is where I come in here and started digging through. So I was going to set my plant right here. But then, and this is where I'm going to suggest, if we continue to mine this, is we're going to set, this is another spot to put up a little plant and start refilling right here. Coming into my old mill site from 14 and 15. And you can see how the bank all sloped. Okay, we'll just walk back and take a closer look. I'm proud of my reclamation work. It takes a lot of time. When you move into what the BLM calls historic disturbance, and that's what I had here, is previous disturbance, historic disturbance. They don't necessarily make you reclaim that disturbance. But yeah, here's the spot. all recontoured. And I'm not done mining here. I've actually figured out where the gold is now. So this hole, I hope to fill in. All these piles of material over here, I know they're covered with snow. Can't really tell what's in them, but that's actually all ore they stockpiled. I thought it was waste. That's what you do, right? You throw the overburden out of the way and, push that out of the way, and then you tear up the bottom of the canyon. And maybe they did push it over here thinking it's waste. But somewhere along the way, they figured out, and they started scraping the top of the seabed right here. That's the level of the seabed. And they scraped it all the way off of there, and they scraped it all the way off of here. And they pushed up way more material than they needed to. And I think they figured out that's what they need to be running. So all this material sitting up here, already extracted, and it's ready to be run. How good it is, I don't know. I imagine it's at least, 3 yards to the gram. That's pretty easy to find out here. But look at the situation here. You don't have to rehandle. You can just dump your waste over the edge of this pit forever and never have to rehandle it. See the little overhang down there? I wish I could zoom in. This camera don't zoom, but there's a little overhang right down there in the bottom of the pit. And you'll notice that in my earlier videos. That sticks out quite a ways. This site down here where all this equipment is, that's where I was in 2012. It's all different now. I'll go over and stand where we took that video from 2012. Okay, that's a little overhang. This is right where Sophie filmed me coming up the hill on the International backhoe. And right about where my truck is where my wash plant used to be. You see the seabed in the wall over there. And over here too. You see, that's what makes me believe they figured it out. They scraped all this area here. If the snow wasn't on it, you'd be able to see it. But you can get a good look at it right here. You see the ancient seabed in the high wall over there. A little more clearly defined here. The fact that they pushed all this material back, way more than they needed to open up this bottom, leads me to think that after figuring out there wasn't much gold down here in the bottom, not like they found on top, they started mining here because they found gold on the surface. And they thought the deeper they would mine, the richer it would get. But that's not the case. I think they figured out after a while and started scraping this top together and started running it. This company that worked here did not go broke. The owner suddenly died. That's what put him out of business.